Have you always wanted to write a grant to gather STEM supplies, but not sure where to get started? What is the process? What should you say? And how do you even get the materials? Today, I am talking with Brittany Walker, who is the Senior Community Engagement Associate at DonorsChoose, and she is giving you all the insight to answer all of your questions. In this episode, we will discuss what DonorsChoose is and how to get started, types of project ideas, and tips to be successful when writing a grant through their platform. Speaking from experience, if you haven't used DonorsChoose before, this is an excellent resource to use as a teacher when it comes to gathering supplies for your classroom. You're really going to love this episode and all of the helpful tips, and I can't wait for you to listen. Welcome to the Elementary STEM Coach Podcast, a show that'll help you with lesson ideas, systems, and actionable tips to apply to your classroom. I am your host, Naomi Meredith, a former classroom teacher turned current STEM teacher and coach. With over a decade of experience teaching and a master's degree in STEM leadership, I am here to coach you throughout the year to help you gain back more time to create innovative experiences for your students. Grab your earbuds and let's get started. Well, thank you so much, Brittany, for being here today. I am so excited to have you, and I know that our teacher audience will be really happy to hear from you too. So it's funny because you have a really interesting background in teaching, and I'm happy and excited to hear about that. So if you wouldn't mind telling us more about yourself, your background, and then what your role is at DonorsChoose.
Of course. So I'm so excited to be here today, first of all. I am a former educator. I actually taught science for about 5 years in Washington, D.C. I taught at the elementary level, so grades one
Oh,
through four. And I wore a few different hats during my time in education, as many teachers often do. Actually started as a resident teacher, like learning how to do the real thing and
yeah.
shadowing others. And that was with first grade. And then I went on to teach science for the rest of the elementary grades. I also helped to develop some science curriculum and led our school science club, as well as we had a YouTube channel and a whole bunch of things. And that was one of my favorite roles for me because it fostered like a real love and excitement for community engagement and
Mhm.
creating educational programming. And so I've been so fortunate to transition into my role at DonorsChoose, where I am the community engagement lead, piloting, building, and managing initiatives, building community amongst our teachers and donors. So it's a huge win. Get to do what I love. So yeah.
That is so cool. Like your background, and it's perfect for this podcast because we even have some science teachers who listen in the elementary space. So similar roles as you, a lot of STEM teachers in elementary, and even a lot of classroom teachers who are interested in implementing STEM. So I'm really excited to talk with you. And
Same.
this is like perfect how this all worked out because you're like the perfect audience. Like you're like our audience with your background.
I've lived it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know how it goes. Um, so with that in mind, so you work at DonorsChoose,
Yes.
and for people who haven't heard of DonorsChoose, what is it and how does it actually work? Because I've used it and I love it and it's super user friendly. But for teachers who haven't, what is the whole point of it?
Absolutely. So DonorsChoose is really the leading way to give to public schools. About 4 out of 5 public schools across the U.S. have a teacher who have posted a project on DonorsChoose. What we do is make it easy for any public school teacher in need to request the materials and tools they need in order to really transform their students' learning experience and have a great education. And we've been around since the year 2000, and our donors and partners have contributed about $1.4 billion to
Oh,
support
wow.
2.5 million teacher requests. And so it's been a huge help for many teachers. And what they do is they use our platform to request classroom resources. And donors who feel inspired to want to give to certain projects or support a certain resource type are able to search the site and directly support that teacher. Each request is vetted by our DonorsChoose team, and we ship the funded materials directly to the teacher's school.
It is such an awesome resource. And I used it, I heard about it when I was student teaching. So at the time of this recording, what? I don't know, 13, 14 years ago.
Wow.
So I heard about it then. And then I know for even just my experience, like checking in and like putting a request, it's really improved and really grown. And I know like the materials that you can request, especially when it comes to STEM, there are so many different partnerships that you guys have when it comes to materials. And I love how you do all the work when it comes to like ordering and then delivering it
Yeah.
to us. And there's some really cool ideas out there, and it's literally a template, right? Like you just put in what you want.
Definitely. So teachers, they're able to request the amount of materials, the exact materials that they want. We partner with certain vendors in order to get the materials that they need. And once they select the materials, they also like describe the need for the materials in the form of a short essay. And yeah, the process pretty much takes them straight through once their request is screened and their project is live, and other donors and even like their family or friends, whoever would like to, can give. We also provide teachers with templates, email templates, graphics for like social media, or just to share within their network so that their community knows about what they're fundraising for.
Oh yeah, it's so I love that because I think as a teacher, it can, and you probably had this experience, it can be overwhelming thinking, how am I going to write a grant? What do I even say? What do they want? Where do I even go to do a grant? Which there are opportunities out there. So I love how it's super user friendly and the templates are really nice because we're busy teachers. Like we
Definitely.
don't know what to do. So it's super like streamlined. And when it comes to projects, have you seen any certain ones that have been great when it comes to STEM or things that have gotten funded over the years?
Yes. One, for example, we have a teacher, Mrs. Dixon at Woodmore Elementary School. She hosted a STEM-tastic family fun night, and she was able to request materials for various stations, such as DNA extractions. They were able to extract DNA from the strawberries, kaleidoscope making, slime creation, building circuits, balloon race cars. And that was just for one project to support 200 students. We have, for another example, Mrs. Coates at Rustic Lane Elementary School requested programmable handheld game consoles that her students could use
Ooh.
with Microsoft Make Code, and her students were able to really like take advantage of that video game technology and be the active creators of it. And it can go from the small things like Lego blocks and
Yeah.
magnet tiles to big things like maker spaces and helping all of the hands-on activities that our STEM teachers love to do and get their students involved in.
I love that. That I would never have thought for writing a grant when it comes to community engagement, when it comes to a family night. That is a
Mm,
really creative and great idea when you're thinking maybe you are a teacher who actually has what they need in their classroom, which you probably don't, but maybe you have a pretty well stocked room. So that's a really cool way to utilize Donors Choose to have some just more unique projects when families are coming in. I love that idea.
Absolutely. And what we've seen on our site is that our teachers, they really think outside of the box to get these materials ready for their students. And even if, like you said, even if their classrooms are well stocked, then they're thinking more out of the box on how to like create these engaging, diverse learning experiences with new products that they may not have had a chance to do or have had access to before.
Oh, absolutely. And I love even that video game when you're talking about. I was talking to another STEM teacher. We were talking about just grant writing in general. And she's in a similar role like me. We've had our classes for about 5 years. And when you first get started, you probably saw this too when you were teaching science. When you first start, the kids, like you kind of can do the same thing with a lot of the kids because they might not have
Hmm.
used a tool before. But then as you
Yeah,
get going over the years, they need more of a challenge, and you might have to be getting materials that are just at a higher level or just different, or it needs updates because the kids' skill levels haven't increased, which is awesome. So that's
hmm.
a really great way to extend like differentiation opportunities too.
Absolutely. And what we see is that many teachers write that into their stories when they're
Oh,
requesting items so that potential donors can see like exactly how they're supporting their students by providing those differentiated learning materials. And it's like a win-win for everyone.
Oh, that's a really good idea when it comes. Yeah, I never thought about that either. See, I'm so glad that you're here because you see a lot of these projects come through. So when it comes to those projects, when writing a grant, so you guys have the templates, you have examples, but do you have some recommendation with when it comes to ensuring that a project will get funded and just the way you should word things and be very specific? What are some things that teachers should keep in mind?
Absolutely. We found that while it is easy to post a DonorsChoose project, we like to provide teachers with the best tools of success that they can have so that as soon as the donor sees their project, they feel moved to support. And we really recommend four things. One is to be specific. The more specific you can detail your request, the clearer it is to that donor what it is you're looking for to really enrich your students' learning. Second, we ask that you tell a story, put us into your classroom. Describe why and how the project will help your class and how it will feel for your students to experience these resources, maybe even what it may look like in your classroom. Thirdly, we ask that let your students shine. They
That's good.
are the beneficiaries of these materials. And so when writing about your students and your DonorsChoose project, really focus on their interests, strengths, and dreams, not just their struggles. Ask yourself if your students and their parents will feel proud of themselves after reading your DonorsChoose project.
Ooh.
And lastly, be strategic with your project. Smaller requests are more likely to get funded quickly. We like to say that within the range of anything projects under $200 have a 90% chance of being funded quickly, while projects over $1,000 are funded only about 43% of the time. So as a teacher, you can just ask yourself, are there some ways I can lower the cost of my projects, or maybe like break a project up
Mm.
into two or three different projects so that um, when donors look at it, they are more pulled to maybe even like finish the project off and cover the whole bid, or, just breaking it down and making it smaller.
That's a really good advice, just seeing those trends on there, because I think a lot of us, when we're writing a grant or need materials, like, I need $1,000 right off the bat. And then you put like all the things like Lego bricks, magnetiles, glue, crayons. Like,
Mm,
so that's really smart, just breaking it apart and making it more tangible.
definitely. And we see teachers being really creative with that. Just for example, back to the examples of the STEM project, their teachers are able to like title their project. And if I'm a donor and I'm seeing something like a STEM-tastic family fun night, I'm like, ooh, what is that? So teachers really also really think out of the box on the titles and how to really off the bat engage donors and get them interested in their stories.
Oh, totally. Do you feel like with STEM projects in particular, with the outside donors, do STEM projects, do you feel like get funded faster or does it not really matter from what you've seen?
I haven't really noticed any difference specifically for, say, STEM versus any other subject. I think it may go down to, again, like the size of the project as well as the storytelling bit. And yeah, if a donor is more able to really like put themselves in that classroom and really can see the need for the materials, I think any project with a great story engages donors all the same.
That's really good. There's so much impact in storytelling. We love stories as
Hmm.
humans.
And I also will say I think every donor is everyone who wants to give to a classroom in need is so different. And so you may have former science teachers who really like ourselves love science, have a passion for STEM, and they may seek out those projects. Donors do have the freedom
Mhm.
of selecting a resource type and a subject area. So we do see a lot of that as well.
Oh, that's so cool. I actually donate myself. I actually look for STEM classrooms that I'll
Oh,
give back
really?
to. Yeah, every quarter I'll go look and find some STEM projects and use some of my business funds to help out other
That's
STEM teachers out there.
awesome.
Because
That is
it's
so
hard.
beautiful.
Yeah. So when you have the projects on there, is there a certain time frame that they have to get funded and also how long do projects typically get funded? I don't know if that's the same or different when it comes to donors choose.
Sure. I think it can take anywhere from, I've seen projects funded in as little as a day, and teachers will come into the community and say, "Oh my gosh, my project just got approved yesterday after, being vetted by our team. And today is, I got my rocket." That's our celebratory
Aw.
email we send to them. I would say anywhere from as soon as the project goes live to 2 weeks. There's no specific time frame on that teachers or deadline that teachers have to get their project funded. Yeah, they can keep it up for as long as they need
Okay.
to,
That's
or keep
cool.
requesting the items for as
Mm.
long as they need it.
Does it change for summertime at all, or when it comes to long winter breaks? Are there any parameters around that since we might not be around during the summer to get things delivered, or how does that work?
There is, with our customer support team, we do, I believe there may be a slight pause in shipping certain
Mm.
items, but that's not to also say the teachers can't order them. It just takes maybe like one extra step to coordinate with
Oh.
the teacher and their school on making sure that those materials are delivered safely.
Oh, okay. So they could just still write the project, it could still get
Absolutely.
funded, and then when the school year starts, the supplies can get delivered at that time.
Absolutely. It's a
Oh,
year
cool.
round operation when getting those materials delivered to their classrooms.
So that's good to know because I feel like sometimes it could just feel overwhelming. I want to write a grant. I just don't have the time right now. It's the end of the school year. So some teachers might sit down and write it out over the summer, get it approved, and then hopefully it gets funded and then they can get the
Mhm.
supplies like a month or so later, which that's good.
Definitely. And what we've also seen is teachers may start now, like in March, thinking about the beginning of next year, and they may start writing projects so that they can already have those materials in their classroom when they open that door to the new
Yeah.
school year. Some teachers are, I would say again, our teachers are very crafty. They're very strategic when it comes to getting the materials they need for their students. So, yeah, they make sure that they have what they need, and we work again all year round to make sure that their items are delivered in a timely manner to their schools.
That's so good. And I can tell. I mean, they obviously hire teachers. You're a teacher, but you guys are very teacher and student focused and just really trying to make the process easy because, like we said, it's hard to get materials and just knowing what to get, how to order it, just where does the money, like all of that stuff. It's just
Hmm.
so nice how everything is laid out on there and just it makes it like takes so much stress away because, I mean, it's funny because us as teachers, we don't usually go to college like, oh, I'm going to learn how to write grants. Like, that's not something that you really know how to do. It's not something you ever thought you would have to do, especially with STEM materials. It can get expensive. And when you teach all the
Hmm.
kids, it's a lot of materials. Like, what I need for kindergarten is so different than what I need in fifth
Oh,
grade.
absolutely. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely do serve like elementary, middle, and high school. We want it to be a space where no matter the age or grade levels, teachers can, request whatever materials that they need. And again, like you said, we really try to take the work out of it for them, so that they're not spending hours writing up a project, and they can focus on more so telling their story and telling the story of how amazing or how transformed their classroom is about to be with these projects. I will say one example is, and I just love, we've been having like a lot of science, a lot of STEM
Oh,
examples
good.
lately come through in our teacher Facebook community. One teacher just shared how she's doing a unit on animals, and they are hatching chickens.
Oh,
And
yes.
she shared the pictures of the students in her classroom, playing with the newly hatched chickens. We could see them like taking notes in their science journals. So we wanted to get to that with the teachers. We want to be able to celebrate their rockets and make the heavy lifting of the grant writing not as time extensive.
I love that. That's a great grant. I've did chickens when I taught third grade, and That is a great project. If you're allowed to have animals in your
I
building,
didn't
it's
know it
good.
was a thing.
Yeah. It is so,
Um,
and they're so cute and soft. They're like the softest little things.
oh my gosh. Now I need to experience this at least once.
Oh, it's so cute. And this is pretty naive of me, but I guess the reason why there's different colored eggs, it's different breeds of chickens. And so when they're born, yeah,
Oh.
right? It's not like how healthier, it's just a different breed. So when they're like born, they hatch out and then they try to give you different colors of different breeds of chickens. So they hatch in their different colors and it's so cute.
OMG. Okay, I need to do a YouTube dive.
Yes, they're so cute. They're cute as little things. Yeah, great project though. So when it comes to anything else, is there anything that I'm missing that, or any other things you want to tell teachers when it comes to Donors Choose or anything else that I didn't get to?
Absolutely. We are gearing up for our Teacher Appreciation Week. It's always a huge thing at DonorsChoose, which this year it falls between May 8th to the 12th. It's one of the biggest times of the school year for donations to school projects. We're hoping to help teachers fund up to $10 million on DonorsChoose projects that week. Right?
Whoa.
Huge goal, but I know we're going to get it done. And teachers can sign up for a DonorsChoose account, join the community, and follow us on social media to get the latest about funding opportunities during Teacher Appreciation Week. And just to give some more insight on our teacher Facebook community, we do have it's called DonorsChoose Teachers Community. And we have about 30,000 teachers who are in the community. They share tons of tips for project funding and project creation, and they share important updates like the chicken hatching and like the family fun nights and just the awesome activities and projects that they do with their classroom. We get to see the materials that they got funded through DonorsChoose in real life, and it's an amazing community.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to link all of this in the show notes, and this will definitely be
Thank
playing
you.
before Teacher Appreciation. So that's
Hmm.
really good to hear. And that's just really cool how you guys are just trying, even outside the grants, just building a community and giving that inspiration and just seeing. That's the whole thing we love about teaching is like, what is the outcome of
Yeah,
this and the story, and how is this impacting our students? And that's really cool
definitely.
that you guys get to play a role with that and really make like just really powerful experiences happen and just really cool
Yeah.
activities.
Yes, and one more thing, for
Yeah.
summer, we always encourage teachers, again, like I said before, to get a head start for the next school year. Most of our DonorsChoose teachers will start posting the resources they need for the 2023 to 24 school year as early as June or July. So we recommend that as the year starts coming to a close, start thinking about some of those projects um, head of mind before the school year closes out, just as a friendly reminder.
Oh no, that's perfect. We need all those reminders. We do. We do. No, I love that. Well, I appreciate you so much and all of your knowledge and just explaining the background of that of Donors Choose and how you and your team help support us in the classroom and just making it just sound very easy. And it is like based on experience, it's very easy to do.
Yay. Love
Um,
that you have that experience.
Yes, it's very easy and just it's actually kind of fun too and just a great way to get started, especially if you've never written a grant or even if you have,
Hmm.
just getting better at that writing piece and
Yeah,
telling that story. And again, of course, getting those awesome projects in your classroom. So thank you so much for your time today.
definitely. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, we will post everything and I'm sure you're going to see a lot more projects coming your way, more STEM projects
Yes.
soon.
Bring them on. Bring them on.
Well, thank you again, Brittany.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Elementary STEM Coach Podcast. I would love to connect with you over on Instagram at Naomi Meredith _ or send me an email to elementarystemcoachpodcast@gmail.com. Also, make sure to check out my website, naomimeredith.com, to see all the show notes from today's episode and shop my K-5 STEM resources. Any questions you have, needs for resources, or ideas for episodes, get in touch. I'll talk to you soon.